Hi, this is Tatiana, and this is part of the series of games that narcissists play. As I say in the beginning of all my videos, I wanted to say I'm not a doctor, and that this video series is part of my own coping strategy. And also my hope is that if you are in a narcissistic or abusive relationship, that you hear things that validate your gut feeling. It is hard to be alone, and that's what I'm just hoping. I guess maybe I wish that I had videos like this while I was going through what I was going through. So if you hear something that validates what you feel, stick with it and start making a plan to get out. I think this is a appropriate topic for my cat trying to invade my workspace. So the topic for this games that narcissists play is pet abuse. One of the biggest concerns that the organizations that help people who are in abusive relationships struggle with is that they do not provide shelter for your pets. I live in Los Angeles, and I think when I was looking, there was maybe one shelter that would take your animals to a shelter, which is just heartbreaking. It's why I stayed. I just couldn't cope. I could not emotionally cope with not having my pets around me. Okay, but right now I think I need to cope with her not being around me. Okay, so this isn't a funny subject. It is very, very serious, and I do recall in my life being in a very serious problem, not being able to leave, and number one, not being able to leave because of my pets. And I couldn't make an exit strategy because I could not leave the home and believe that my pets would be safe. So the two stories that I want to tell you in my personal experience about pet abuse being one of the games that narcissists play is the relationship that I had when I was much, much younger. I was about 19, and when we got together, my cat instinctively didn't like him, and I was just too young for it to register. I remember clearly that she did not like him, and I was caught up in the love affair, as we so often are in the beginning of an abusive relationship, in the midst of believing a hell of a lot of lies. And I didn't see it. And anyway, and he was insisting that he was allergic to cats. I never know. I've never known if he actually was allergic to cats. It might have just been a ploy. But the fact of the matter is that I gave away my cat, and she did pass away shortly after I gave her away. And I still feel guilt sometimes about that, because I gave her away because I was in an abusive relationship. There was no other reason that I gave her away. And I'm grateful for this kitty that's in the coming through the screen, because she looks a lot like my original kitty, and I feel like God gave me a second chance. And even a friend of mine that I knew way back then, and when he saw a photograph of her, was just stunned at how much she looks like my original mama kitty. So this is my second mama kitty, and maybe that's just a little bit of hope for you, that no matter what mistakes you have made in life, no matter the bad things that you've done, God will give you a second chance, and bless you even more than you were before. So I'm very grateful for my kitty cat. However, in that abusive relationship, that was a sticking point for him. In order for us to continue in the relationship, was to get rid of my pet. So please, if you're in the beginning of a relationship and your partner or potential partner wants you to get rid of your pet, and you just feel in your gut like something is wrong, I'm telling you to listen to your gut. Something is wrong. If he doesn't love you and your pets, he doesn't love you. And you need to listen to that warning sign. The other story about pet abuse, and there are absolutely true circumstances where an abuser will physically hurt your pet. And I don't know what to say, because like I said, I'm not a doctor. And if you are with someone who has that potential for physical violence, you need to be very, very careful and protect yourself, because that is, I mean, the fucking in your head that goes on in a mentally abusive and emotionally abusive relationship is bad enough, but you truly are in danger if that person is willing to physically harm an animal. If you read about, or whatever, documentaries and stuff about serial killers and all that stuff, they all start off hurting animals. So, and I used to be a teacher, and any type of animal abuse is taken very seriously in children, because it is an indicator of the potential for danger to people when that child grows up. So we take all of that kind of stuff. Anything that's observed or told is taken very seriously, confidentially, but seriously. That is the indicator of a dangerous person. So please be careful. For my experience, the second story that I have was the relationship that I had for a few months. Again, thankfully, it was a much shorter amount of time, because I was much more aware of what the games are that narcissists play. And so I was able to separate myself emotionally much quicker. However, as soon as we had moved in together, I was highly suspicious that, oh no, I'm in an abusive relationship. I'm afraid of this person. I'm afraid of what their potential is. I don't know them well enough to know how dangerous they are. And when I moved in, I was supposed to, I had moved to a new place, and I was supposed to get a job and move on with life together. However, it was such a shock and 180-degree turn in that first 24 hours that we were living together, that I immediately became concerned for the pets, and was just concerned anyway. So I was tutoring. That's a quick way for me to get back into work. So I got a tutoring gig, and I was terrified the first time that I went out, and everything was fine. I went for an hour gig. I came back, and everything was fine. So, I mean, I prayed my brains out, and I thought, okay, maybe everything is okay, and I'll be able to get full-time work and get out of this relationship as fast as possible. I can get my down payment, whatever, all the stuff that I need, right? So the second time that I went to work, which was, I think, like 2 days later. So I went back to work, and I was gone for an hour for the tutoring gig, and then had to go grocery shopping. When I came out of the grocery store, I got a telephone call saying that someone had my pet. Hi, this is so-and-so. I have your Pomeranian Chihuahua. It's like a 6-pound dog. And it's dark, and I'm flabbergasted that my fears have come true. How did my dog get out of the house? And I instantly knew, you fucking asshole, you let them out. And so I texted him, asking, where are my dogs? Okay, and here's another indicator. I'm asking where my dogs are. I have 2 dogs. He knows I have 2 dogs. And he responds about one. And he says, well, this one is here. And I said, yeah, where are my dogs, plural? And again, he responded about the first dog. So I knew damn well that he knew that the other dog was not in the house. So I went and I picked up the dog. I was hysterical. I got back to the house, and I walked in the door, and he was pretending to be looking for the dog. And so I'm talking with my neighbor, and it turns out that an hour and a half earlier, someone had come to my neighbor's door with one of my dogs, saying, hey, is this your dog? And I said, no, it belongs to me and the guy that I'm with. So they had actually brought the first dog to him, saying, hey, your dog got out. And there's no way that he's going to pretend to me that he didn't look for the other dog. I know damn well that he let both of the dogs out. I'm going with my gut. I know that he let both of the dogs out. And to get home and realize that someone actually came to him and said, one of your dogs is out, and you didn't look to make sure that the other dog was there. You had an hour and a half to find out if the other dog was even in the house, and you didn't. Your gut is telling you there's something fishy about this story, and this person is dangerous to my pets. Another thing he would also do was he was jealous of the dogs. He would indicate that he didn't want the dogs between us. He didn't even want me touching my dogs. If we were sitting on the couch together, he didn't even want my hands on the dogs, is how jealous he was. Okay. So again, if you are just dating someone and they are saying things like that somehow they feel jealous of a dog, toss them out the door. Yes, some of us are very affectionate with our dogs, and our dogs do try to get in between. We all know that. Doggies are protective, and they do try to shove themselves in between to claim ownership when you're dating someone. But to not have your dog next to you at all is ridiculous. So, those of you who have dogs, and you do need to politely move your dog from in between you because your dog's trying to take ownership of you. Okay. But and I know, the gut is saying, why are you so jealous of a dog? It's extreme. It's too much. Okay. So, anyway, so that, as we said, everyone says this, don't confront your narcissist. I did confront my narcissist. So, I wanted to say that. So, what happens when you confront a narcissist? It just gets worse. So I walked in the door, I'm hysterical, and he's trying to pretend that he didn't know that the dogs were gone. And I'm crying, and I'm crying because I'm thinking, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to get out of this relationship because I can't leave. And my pets will be safe. So I'm devastated emotionally at the moment. And I say to him, I just looked at him in the eye, and I just said, look me in the eye and tell me you didn't let these dogs out on purpose. And I did not say it nicely. I said it like, I know damn well what you did, and you know damn well what you did, which caused him to completely freeze. I think he was completely shocked. And then he launched into gaslighting. It was my fault. He was screaming at me. He's yelling at me. It's your fault. I was mad at you when I left. And so I slammed the door. And so it didn't close all the way, blah, 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 blah. And I just kind of looked at him like, that's just not going to work. And I didn't even respond. After I said what I said, I felt like I said what I needed to say. And like the door is closing, it's closing. I'm realizing you're a psychopath, and I need to figure out how to get out of here. So that was really the course of it. But he wasn't a physically violent person. However, as you can see, even though he is not physically abusing the animals, he did accidentally on purpose. That's another game. Accidentally on purpose, let the dogs out. And they were out for an hour and a half, a 6-pound dog in the middle of the city. She was found at an intersection, a huge intersection in LA. And she's black. I'm just so grateful that she did not get hit by a car or anything. So, okay. So those are my examples of pet abuse. I have experienced another situation in my life where I observed, I wasn't in the relationship with this person, but I did observe animal abuse by, I'm trying to, in some ways be anonymous and then in some ways, be able to explain in detail. The person was not caring for the pet. For example, we all know that dogs shouldn't eat chocolate, okay? Somebody who is leaving chocolate out in a place that a dog can get it. Somebody who, I actually know someone's pet who passed away by eating the beer bottle cap, okay? That will rip the insides of a dog. Somebody that in your gut, you feel like they're leaving dangerous things for the animal to consume. That is pet abuse. when your gut is telling you that wasn't an accident. Because we can all say, we're dating somebody and we say, oh, dogs don't eat chocolate. Make sure you don't do that. Or, oh, be careful, don't leave your beer bottle caps on the coffee table because so-and-so can reach it. And people respect that, and, mistakes, accidents happen. But when you've said that 3, 4, 5 times and they're still doing it, and your gut is telling you that this person wants to harm your pet, he probably or she probably does. Another example that I haven't witnessed myself, but I have read about a game that narcissists play, is the opposite, where the pet gets all the affection and you are left feeling like they care more about the pet. Okay, so for example, the narcissist that I just told you about who didn't want the dog between us, okay, you reverse that, and there definitely could be a scenario where there is a narcissist who intentionally puts that dog in between you and who is always petting that dog, or you go in to give them a kiss or to hug them and they're like, oh, I don't like affection, but their dog can lick their face and they're all over them, and all the affection goes there, and that is on purpose to make you feel rejected. That's not necessarily pet abuse, but it is part of that game of a narcissist using a pet to hurt you and get their narcissistic supply. So in this case, they are over coddling the pet in order to make you feel rejected. And but what we do mostly see is, or what I've mostly seen is, that person being willing to put that pet in danger in order to make you afraid, or to set up a control issue where you're going to, like I did, give up a pet in order to prove that you love them. So anyway, that's all the ones that I can think of. If you have some other ones that you want to suggest in the comments, please do. As I said, this series of the games that narcissists play, as far as it being part of my coping strategy, is for me to clearly become more and more comfortable and confident when I see a game being played. And that is what helped me out of that particular relationship so quickly, is because I was more aware of the games. And I think part of even this process is when I say to someone, this was a game, I get my own validation as well. It was very, very, very hard to get out of that relationship and have no one to talk to. So if you don't have anyone to talk to, that's what this video is for you to feel like someone else has gone through it. I was able to create a journal that I wrote in, and that helped me keep my sanity, but I was able to hide it. If you can also do a photo album on your Facebook page that is private, that only you can see it. I still have that album on my Facebook page, and that completely held me together, to even behave like I was talking to my best friend about what was going on, and to have that on my Facebook, to know that it's real. Again, you need to be able to hide that. If you truly are in an abusive or narcissistic relationship, please protect yourself, and delete this video from your viewing history, and make sure that you delete photos from your computer or your phone if you've uploaded them, whatever. Keep yourself safe is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so if you need to memorize it, National Domestic Violence Hotline number is 1-800-799-SAFE. It's 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-7233. If you are afraid for your pets, please call them. There isn't a lot of support services, but call them and find out. There might be something in your area. Okay? All right, much love.